In this video, we'll start to focus on creating an inventory system in Excel. And to do this, we will work with 5 different tabs, and we do them step by step. We'll start with the easiest one. So the first one will be, of course, our tab for the items, or better known as the stock keeping unit, or SKU. So let's start with this, because this is basically the list of all the items we have with a specific item or product ID. So let's start with that. We type in here SKU, and then what we have more is a description of the product, which could be just the brand name or anything else. And finally, we have the package size. The package size indicates how many units are in a package. Alright, so let's imagine here we're doing this for a specific shop, and this is really a shop that sells products. So this is not suitable for a restaurant. And if you're looking for one regarding to a restaurant, I will have very soon a new video related to that. However, let's start with this now, and I'll just make the design proper. Put this here to the center. There we are. And then in here, we will have some basic product IDs. So let's say here we will have a bottle of water. No, sorry. So we say here WAT1, and this would be water. And this would be maybe a 12 pack. We have here Sprite 1. Let me say Sprite can. And this is a 24 pack. And here we have CC for Coca-Cola 1. Be Coca-Cola can. 24 in a pack. And then what we have more is, for example, we have cup noodles. So CN1 and cup noodle pack. And we have here 48 pieces in one pack. Of course, you have probably a lot more, and what I would recommend is to just continue on with how many you have. So if you have a shop multiple, use this structure. You can look here based on what is the unit, and maybe, and this is very common, water, maybe this is a bottle of water. Bottle water 500 ml, and maybe you have another brand of water, and you can put it all in here. So basically you can keep on going. Alright, so this is the first part. So now we have to work on the second part. In this part, we will continue with our inventory system, and now we're going to focus on the second tab. So I expect you to have this part already done. So what we will do is, we will make a duplicate of this one here. So with this tab, we will duplicate the tab and move it to the end and confirm, and rename this to receive. So this is the receiving tab. And what is the difference between the receiving tab and the stock keeping unit item tab? Is basically this. Here we record all the receiving items we receive from suppliers, and we need to record them what's coming in our warehouse. So what we need is all of these items. However, this here will not be hard-coded. We will use a formula for this. So we will ignore this, and we will first continue with the tab because there are a few more items we need to add. And one of the next one we need is the quantity. So what is the quantity of the unit? Basically, if you order a package of, or a pack of Coke, you need to know, are you ordering 2 packs, 3 packs, 10 boxes, 5 boxes, whatever. Alright, next you need to have the quantity item. And that will be a formula where we multiply the package size by quantity unit. Once we have that, we need to know how much are we paying for it. So the quantity cost. Or the quantity, maybe not but unit cost. Sorry, that's probably a more better name. The unit cost. So how much will it cost? If we buy one of these packages, so if we buy 1 unit, how much will that cost? And after that, what we need more is we want to know the total cost, which is basically a multiplier, and we want to know also how much will it cost per item. So cost per item. And finally, we want to record the date. This is most important. Alright? So once we have this, I'm going to get a design. We get this, and then go to the home here and select this paintbrush to duplicate the design. And maybe we can even do it from up here, so we can also duplicate the size. Alright, so now we have everything here. This looks very nice. And what I will do is to make this slightly smaller, so all of this will work properly and you can see them all. Step 1. We're going to make a list here, and this list will be a drop-down list, and it will be based on what we have here. So let's start and work on this. So the first thing what we need to do is we're going to select where do we want to have the drop-down, and you can make it very long or to the end of the page, whatever you want. For me in this case, and this is very common for smaller shops and companies, you don't need so many. However, if you are a big company, or if you are a company with many products, go as far as you want. It's up to you. That's completely free. So right now I'm going to make here an imaginary black line, and we're going to select here, assuming that from column A2 up to A30 will be a drop down. Alright, so we select this. This is where we want to have the drop down. We click on data, and then we click here on data validation to make a list. So we select here the list, and then we have to select the source. So how will we select the source? We click on this button here. Oh, sorry, we already clicked that button. Then you go to the SQ units, the SKUs, better known, and then we select here. Assuming here as well 30 items, enter, and confirm. So now what we have is we have all these items here, all down here, and I can see that we have some empty spaces, but that's alright for now. We can ignore those. And what we will do now is match the information that we have here. So I just delete here, maybe there was some empty space between there. But what we want to do now is match the description and the package size. So once we selected Coca-Cola, we must have the Coca-Cola description. To do this, we use the VLOOKUP, open parentheses, and then we start to follow this. So this is the lookup value we want, comma, table array, and our table array here is this one here. We will select this table array here, comma, column index number. So where can we find the value matching? Well, this is the matching value, but in this part, in this second column, we want to get it. So this is column 1, column 2, column 3. We say here column 2, comma, and then we say here false because we want exact match. Important here, I want to freeze the cells or lock them into place. So I will select here or type in here the $sign, and here as well, and enter. So once I did that, we have them here nicely, and now I can drag these here no problem. And I will just continue on all to the bottom. And once we have that, you see this error here. Ignore that for now. We will work on that. What we will do is we first continue on the package size here. So we're going to copy all of this. And basically what we have to do is almost the same, but instead of column 2, we will select column 3. So let's solve that here. You can see here we had the formula ready. Number 3, enter. Alright, so you can see this works now, and as we drag this down, there you are. So once we have this, let's solve this not available error. So the NA, the not available error, because there's no value. How to do that? Well, simply adding a special function for this. So we say the if NA function, and if the value or the VLOOKUP is this, alright, it's good. If there is no value or there's nothing at all they can find, we want to do here double quotations and close. Double quotation means empty because everything between the quotation will be displayed. So we want to show nothing at all. Confirm, enter, and double click on this. You can see now it starts to work. Alright, we've got one part. Let's do exactly the same here. If NA, open parentheses, and then we say comma here, double quotations, and close. Once we did that, double click here, and you get all the formulas. And now you can see here we have all of this. And what happens if we say water bottle, and we say Sprite, and we say CN, what was it, cup noodle pack? There you are. So now we have this, and this is basically a formula. No need to do anything here. So to highlight this as a formula, we will make sure we give it a different color. Alright, so we select here a slight grayish color. Next we have the quantity unit. So for example, are you ordering 2 or 3 boxes of items, a 2-pack, or what is it, 1 pack of 24 cans in this case? So we can say here, so anything you want here goes. Quantity item is basically the formula of these two here, because how many items do you have in one unit? Well, 24 pieces in this case. So we say here 24 multiplied by this, enter, means 24. We drag this here and we can continue on. There you are. And here as well, same story. Do we want to solve this? Of course we want to solve this. So we say here, how do we solve this? If, and there's an error, open parentheses, the formula is fine, and if there's nothing, double quotations and close. And let's double click on this. There you are. So now it doesn't show as well, and this is as well a formula. Meaning that we have to give it a different color because we don't touch this. So now we have here the unit cost, and the unit cost is just the cost, how much would it cost for a pack of 24 Coca-Cola cans. Well, make up your mind here, you can do anything. And I did not hard code this on purpose, just for one reason, to avoid price differences. Sometimes if you are hard coding it, we could hard code it basically here in this tab here, but if there would be a price difference or you get a special discount, you have a problem because you cannot adjust that. So it will be very hard. So that's why we have it here built in. You can type it in yourself. So let's say this would be $5 and this water pack is $3 and this Coca-Cola cans as well well, let's say this was a discounted version. Here $4, Sprite cans $5, and the cup noodle pack was $10. Let's give this a nice format of finances. So we do here and we select this one here. There you are. Alright, so the total cost is eventually the same as this here. How much would cost the unit multiplied by, or sorry, the unit cost multiplied by quantity of the unit. So this multiplied by that, there you are, and there you are. Alright, so this is as well automatic. We can just highlight them in gray. Next we have the cost per item, and the cost per item is basically the total cost divided by the total items we have, and that's this one here. Yeah, so remember, if you have a can of 20 or a pack of 24 cans, you have 24 items. So here we say $5 divided by 24 equals 21 cents per can. Alright, so let's do exactly this here. And here, same story, we got another error. We say if error, open parentheses, comma, then value is double quotations and close. Double click on this. Alright, beautiful. And now as well, here, we have this value here, and there you are. Next we have the date here, and the date will be a forced date to restrict. So this is basically the receiving date, and most logical with the receiving date is this. The receiving date should always be never in the future, should always be on that moment, so it's somewhere in the past. It's today or somewhere in the past, never in the future. Alright, so to make sure that we force a correct data input, we're going to select this and we're going to control the insert. For this we select all the cells, we go to data, we go to data validation, and then in here we will select now the date option. And then it gives you an option here. It says here allow date between, well, less than or equal to. This is the one we need. Alright, and when do we need? Well, instead of putting the physical or the hard-coded today, the date of today, we can just put in here equal today, and then open and close parentheses and confirm. Alright, so now if you can see here, we'll say here today is 28 January. Then if I would say here 28, or let's make it 29 January 2021, enter, we get an error. This value doesn't match with the data validation. Alright, that works well. However, what I don't like, if I say here today, is the design of this. So we're going to reformat this properly. And to do that, right click, we can select here format cells, and here you can select date, and let's select the proper one. What I prefer is always put in the month and then the number of the day and then the year. Confirm. You can see we get these hashtags symbols, meaning that the date is too long. Double click on this and there you are. Let's delete this, and this is exactly how you can do it. And every time when you have a order received, put it in here. So basically here it's supposed to be all today, or maybe this was yesterday or a few days ago, whatever. You can do here minus 10, it was 18 January, whatever. You can put it in here. So now we completed our tab and everything works well here. So let's double check here one more time. If we add up here items, there you are. This is how this works. This is how you can play around with this. So now what we have to do is to make the next tab. In this part, we're going to focus on the third tab, which is the sales tab. And the sales tab will be very close to our receiving tab, although it has some different elements. All right. So what we will do is first to copy the receive tab. Here we are. We copy it. We make a duplicate of it and move it to the end. We'll call this our sales tab. And in our sales tab, we will have a few adjustments. First of all, we will not have package size, and we don't have most of these items here. All right, so let's delete all of these, with the exception of the date. The date will become important, as the date will be a part of it. However, the stock keeping unit and the description should be maintained. Let's insert here a new one, and once we insert this here, we'll start to work on the following, which is the quantity sold per item. Yes, well, quantity item sold. And the reason why it's the item and not the pack, we were talking here about the order unit, is basically this, because you're probably not selling the entire box unless you're a wholesaler. But if you're not a wholesaler but just a retail company, you probably sell per can or per pack. So there one item at a time. So that's what we're going to do here. So this is item sold. Yes. Then what we have, and that's the next one, is the price per item. So how much is the price? So here will be price per item. And finally it will be here. Oh, no, sorry. Finally here we insert another one, and this will be the total sales. Total sales, or the total revenue. So how we calculate this? Well, this maintains here, and then here we put in the amount of items sold. Let's say we sold 2 Coca-Cola cans, and we sold 1 bottle of water. And the price of this item, this one is $1, and the other one is $1.50, and etc. etc. So we can make here up all the numbers. Say here this is 2 sold, and maybe this was in a normal regular rate, it's 150, and I'm just going to make up some items here, 3, 4, 5. All right. So these are manually inserted because you control the price of the item sold and the quantity. So you have to record them. So what we will do here is we will adjust the color, giving it a no-fill color. And here the total sales will be a formula, which is the quantity or the item sold multiplied by the price of it. And we will just, well, first of all, I will just drag this, all right. And then what we will do here is indicate that this is a financial value. Once we have this, we can copy this here, or you can put in any other one, it does not matter. This is basically the date. And this is basically now the third tab. In the fourth tab, we'll start to combine them together. Now we have completed our sales tab, we are ready for the fourth part, which is the inventory tab. To make it easier, we're going to duplicate the receive tab here. So right click on move or copy, put it to the end, create a copy, and confirm. Here we will rename this to inventory, and confirm. So what's the goal of the inventory? Well, very simple. We want to check within minutes or seconds how much stock we have left. This is like a bird's eye view of how many items we have in stock, how many we, or more importantly, how many we ordered, how many we sold, and what's left. And what's left is basically our stock. So let's start and work on that. So first of all, let's look at the first one here, the SKU, or the stock keeping unit, which is correct. We will leave this. We will only do one adjustment here. The next one, description, we will maintain. The package size, we will maintain. The one we will adjust is this one here. This needs to be readjusted, and this will be adjusted to the purchase unit. And once we have that, we also need to calculate the purchase item. Just to make sure, what's the difference? Well, the purchase unit is basically the box, which contains 24 cans of Cokes, and the purchase item will be the multiplier of the package size multiplied by purchase unit. And the reason why this becomes important is because you are selling in a shop as a retailer. You're selling the item and not a box, because you're not probably a wholesaler. If you are, then that's a different story. However, this part here, we will just focus for this for now, because this is really for the retailer. So once you have that, we're going for the next item. And the next item is here. We're going to search how many items has been sold. And we want to know how many items has been sold. And once we know how many items has been sold, we can figure out by purchase items minus items sold equals items left. So this is what is items in stock, or items in stock. And once we have this, we have here the total cost. And finally, what we have left in value. So basically, how many items in stock we have will be indicated here as a value. So to do that, we will say estimate stock value, indicating that we have an estimate. Alright, so I'll make this proper. And then now let's go back here. We have this here, and what we're going to do now is we're going to remove this, because we don't want this drop down here. Why? We only want the SKU unit, or the stock keeping unit value here. So we want only the ID, the item ID is probably a better way to say it. And we can use this here, having them all, or you can get it from here. And the reason why I would say it should be from here is just for one reason only. Why? Here you record everything what comes in. Maybe you have your item that you did not add yet up in your inventory, so they haven't been in your inventory at all. Here you track everything what comes in. So this is the place where you should start your formula. So we go here, and what we do here first is we have to remove this option here, because this is not necessary. Once we select all these cells, and we're going to go back to we click on the data tab, and we select, once we click on this, we select data validation, and we're going to clear out the data validation. Once you click on this, you get the option here, confirm here by pressing clear and confirm. Alright, so now it is clear. What we want now is all the unique values that we have received. So all these item IDs that we have received. So we say here equal unique, this is a function, open brackets or open parentheses, and then we select here the array with the unique value. So we select this, we go to receive, and we select all of these here, all down here to the bottom. Even if you have double, do not worry, it will automatically filter out the double ones. Once we did this, we will ignore all the other options. We say comma and comma, or you can say here false, comma, false, because we don't need anything else. You only need the front one for us, the first part, which is the array. You will understand it will filter out everything what's duplicate. Confirm. And right now you see here, we get some errors here, but that's not a problem as well. So we're going to check here what's going to happen. Let's delete this and we will check here one more time. Oh yeah, of course. Because our data is here, that's why it gives a spill error. So once we remove this, then we get the right values. Let's remove this as well to avoid any issues. So basically what happens is it will continue on, but it will give a warning if it overwrites or if it will or would overwrite any values. So now we have this. We have these here as well, and this is all fine. So what happened if we go back to our receive, and we select here again Coke, we say here and 5 and here 10. So if we see here and we go to the inventory, nothing happens here. Alright, so this maintains all the same. So what we need to do next is, of course, we need to sum up all the values of our receive, which has been recorded, for example, for the Coke, and for every item here. So what we do here is the sum if option. So what we do here now is we type in equal sum if, and then we start to select the range. So what is the range? Let's go back to receive, and here we have the range. This is the range that we need. And we start from A2 all down to A30. Alright. And we will freeze these cells because we will be needing this formula one more time. Comma. Then what we need is the criteria. What is the criteria? Well, simply here. This SKU or the stock keeping unit, comma, sum range. Well, what's the sum range? Well, the sum range in this case is this item here. We select all of these, and we will also freeze these cells by putting dollar symbols in front of them, and enter. So once we did that, we have this. You can see now we have 9 purchasing units of Coca-Cola cans. Let's see if that is correct. We have here Coca-Cola can, that is 5, 3, and 1. That is correct. So if I would make this instead of 1, I make 2. So we should have, instead of 9, we should have now 10. And there you are. So this works perfect. Let's scroll this down all to the bottom to duplicate this. Alright. And once we do this, we need to do exactly the same for the purchasing item. So what we'll do is we can just copy basically this formula. Go back in here. Oh, escape. Click on this cell. We will paste this again. And the only thing what we will do after is we're going to check where is the value we need. Because we will need another value, which is not the quantity unit, but the quantity item. So that is what we need. And this is in E2 up till E30. Alright. So what we're going to do is here, go back. And then we will get this formula here. You see here the sum if, receive. We just change this to E2 and E for echo 30. Confirm this, which is correct. Basically, you could also multiply these two together, it doesn't matter. Alright, so once we have this, now we need to figure out item sold. Item sold is exactly the same as what we did with the receiving, but then for the sales tab. So what we have to do here is we do sum if, open, parentheses, and then we select the range. So what is the range? Let's go back here. We have here the range. We select this. Then we have comma. And then we need to select here the criteria. The criteria is this item here. Comma. Then we go back to the sales and we want the item sold. Here the quantity item. And then we can select these here. And once we're done with that, you can type here enter, but we need to freeze the cell. So I'm going to click back on this one here. And here what we're going to do is we just add in here the dollar signs. Or the dollar symbol. Just to freeze this or lock this into place once we start to drag the formula. So now we're going to drag the formula all down to the cells. There we are. And here we have now our information. So once we have this, then we have to look at the next one here. And then we see here copy cells. What is this? We just ignore that. We can ignore that for now. So what we have here is this. We have here the items sold. So according to this here, we have sold 4 Coca-Colas in total. We sold here 4 Coca-Cola, that is correct. So how many would be in stock? Well, basically, the amount of items we purchased minus the amount of items we sold equals items in stock. Well, this is not always the case, and I will make that later on. We will just drag this for now, and I will explain. Alright, so once we have this, and this is also a formula, we've got this here. And this here will be now also colored into gray. Alright, so once we have this gray and this gray, we have to look here now in the estimate stock value. So the estimate stock value, this was a date and this date was fixed. So remember, if we would put in any other value, it doesn't allow. So what we need to do is we need to remove this here first. So the data validation needs to be undone. So select all the cells here. Go to data, click on data validation and clear them all, confirm. So now we're done. So let's remove this and let's say test. There you are. No error anymore. That's fine. So what is the estimate stock value? Oh, before we even continue that, we need to have the total cost of the value as well. The total. These two have to be done as well. So let's start with that first. So what is the total cost? Well, the total cost will be as well here. Sum if. Then we have again the range value. You can see that we're doing it very consistently. We'll get this one first. This is the range value. And comma. Criteria. What's the criteria? Well, the criteria is here. This cell here. Comma. Go back to receive. And here we need to get the cost per unit. And we will select this if I'm correct. Yes. There you are. And then close. Enter. So now we have the total cost per unit. And what we want to do here is the following. We want to make sure that this is fixed. So we're going to put in the dollar signs. And then I realize we need to add still one more item here, which would be the cost per item itself. But we will drag this first and then after we will add that up. So now here we can insert another one and we also call this cost per item. And how will we calculate the cost per item? Is basically our cost per unit divided by the total items, the total purchased items. That's this. And so it means that 1 can of soda is 8 cents. Now that's quite cheap. Probably that's too unrealistic, but you get the point. Alright, so we have this here and I drag this now down. And of course we get an error, so we need to say if error, open parentheses, comma here, and then double quotations. And there we are. Let's double click on this and now we don't see error anymore. Alright, so we're very close now to the final part, which is the estimate stock value. So how can you calculate the estimate stock value? Well, this is quite easy. Once you know how much is in stock and how much an item costs, you can easily calculate the value, so which is this times that. So you can see here it gets a date value. Do not worry about this because we had one time inserted a date somewhere here. So we have to readjust this, of course. And let's reformat this into a comma. And this is the value of it. Alright, so this is the value. And then we have them here as well. And then we can do here as well the if error function, comma, double quotation, and that. And then here. So to make sure if we're correct, we can calculate here. If this times 4 would be, oh, and you can see here, same issue. Let's just drag this here. Is 32 cents. And that's correct. If we do 32 cents here, this would add up into $19, which is the total cost of the product. And this is correct. Alright, so now we have this formula here. Let's make sure that this is also in a nice gray color. I think it was the correct gray color. Oh, no, not even. Let me double check here. That was this. Alright, so we can just here select this, put it in here. Alright, and same here as well. Let's correct this. So now we have all these items in here, and we are basically done. However, there's still something that we can do. And this here as well, as you can see here, all of these should be gray because this is 100% formula only. So what would happen if we would add up new items? So let's say we get new Coca-Cola 1, alright. We get new Coca-Cola cans, and this time we have a big order of 100 pieces. And they cost also a fortune today. And there you are. Okay, we see the price. And let's go now back to our inventory. We can see our Coca-Cola cans has increased the total cost. You can see everything is matching, and we have we have purchased over 2,600 items, or 110 boxes basically. So what would happen if we sold here 2,000 items? Enter. Here we are. We sold that many items. What we have still left in stock is 638. You can see here, I realize that this should be readjusted without any decimals, because these are complete units. Alright, so we've got this now, and we're almost done, because maybe you say, well, wait a minute, what if we have missing items? What if some products are broken goods? How can we add them in here? Good question. We will create a special tab for stolen goods, lost goods, spillage, spoilage, whatever you call it. That will be next one. Now we have everything, and now it's time to focus on the last tab, which is the spoilage or the inventory check tab. So what we will do is we will copy again this tab, and we will make a duplicate of this, move it to the very end, and rename this to inventory check. This is basically our tab, and this will be a very straightforward tab. So we have this here, and we will keep this here. This will be all maintained. We have the description here, that is fine. This can be probably removed. We don't need this here. What we need here now is the quantity or the unit item that is missing. So because you probably have, this is basically the situation here. You have a checkup, you count the inventory, and then eventually realize that what is being sold compared to what's in the inventory doesn't match, because there's maybe 2 missing. So what we need to do here is record these missing items, and they can be from everything. They can be broken goods, they can be spillage, spoilage, stolen ware, anything could be. So we can categorize them. So let's start to categorize them basically in items. So if we first say here, we probably expect maybe one there is a spillage. And another one is spoilage. Well, you probably, if you are a shop, you probably will not have this kind of situation. Maybe spoilage for goods that are past due date, but most of the time for spillage will not happen. This is more for a restaurant where maybe during that the waiter will drop food or drop a product which they have to reproduce it again, so you lose basically that food. So that's a spillage food. Alright, so we have more. We have spillage, spoilage, we have lost or missing goods, so lost goods. And maybe we have one here that sometimes employees get a bonus and they can get a free drink or they can get a free product. So we say employee bonus, for example. I'm not sure what's the proper term, maybe the employee consumption, if it's for food, if it's for goods, depending on. Alright, so once we have that, then we need to have here the total. Total missing, in this case. Alright, then we can remove this here. We delete this, and we have the date here. The date we maintain. Alright, so we have this here. This is fine. We want to make sure we have the description. Here, this we don't need here. What we need to put in here, and in all of these here, there is hardly any formula except for the missing one. So let's remove all of this. Make this all nice and white. no filler. Alright, so once no filler, then we can indicate here the missing, or there's a formula, which is spillage plus spoilage plus lost goods plus employee bonus. There we are. Once we did that, double click, and let's to make sure, you can see here the values are giving an error. So to make this clean, if error, open parentheses, this, comma, double quotations, enter, and then we duplicate this. There you are. Alright, so this is all correct, so let's remove this for now. And let's say this, we discover we have ordered a huge chunk of Coca-Cola, but there's something happening. We have a spoilage. We are missing 10 cans of Coca-Cola. Or there's past due date, and we have another 1,000 items missing. Alright? So what we will do with this is, and then let's say one more time. We expected one more time, on a different date, we had 500 items lost. And let's see what's going on here. Alright, I guess this is not copying each other. No worries. We can just double click here because the formula here above is still correct. Alright, so once we have this, we're not done yet because we need to now incorporate this into our inventory. And our inventory here, we have here total items in stock. In our case, the total items in stock is different. Let me show you. Because it will be depending on the missing items here. So we have the items in stock. No. So what we need to do is the following. So we have this, and then minus again, and then here, sum if, open parentheses, and then we go here. We will say this is our range up to number 30, comma, and then we say what's the criteria. Well, the criteria is in the inventory on the very first value here. Alright, comma, then we go back to the inventory check. We get all of these out here. Enter. And then close this. We can type an enter here. Oh, let's see. Yes, you see, I realize we have a double things. Let's say we accept that. What happened here was basically I'm having this double brackets. So let's remove the double brackets, probably not necessary. Enter, and there we are. So now we have this. What I want to do here is I want to put in here the dollar signs. And I want to do it here as well. So we can drag these. Once we did this, let's go back down here. Alright. So now you can see, because we did a huge amount of loss, you can see we already have a negative amount here. And then this is our estimate stock value, which is negative. Of course, can't be. Let's put this back here. Let's say we only have here this, and we only have 200 missing. Let's see what happened now. Let's look at our Coca-Cola. We have here the amount of items we sold, a certain amount of items, and this is what's left in stock. To make it easier, let's fix this by making it easier to calculate. So imagine here we have Coca-Cola cans, two quantities. I'm going to remove this here. This is not necessary. And same here, and same here. How many Coca-Cola cans we have? I'll just move every Coca-Cola, and then we're going to compare them. So we have here total units. That's the total units, and then we're going to change this to only 10. Let's see what we have here now in inventory. Alright, Coca-Cola cans, let's undo this, and let's say we have only one item missing here. Here as well. Go back to the inventory. So we can see now how many items we purchased. We can see here in Coca-Cola we purchased 120 items. Is that correct? We see this here, the quantity of items, and you can see this here together, and that is correct, because if you would do 48 plus 72, and then we have the equal sign, of course, is 120 items. So we have 120 cans of Coke. How many we sold? You see here we sold in total of 12 cans of Coke. So we sold 12, we have 120, and then you can see here there's 2 missing out of this, because in total here are, instead of 12 being, well, you can see here it's missing. What, let me double check how many we recorded 2 missing. So you can see there's 2 missing here out of it, because normally 120 minus 12 is 108, and here we have now 2 missing. So this is basically how you can use this. And maybe if you want to have the estimate or the total stock value, you want to have that recorded as in the dashboard. What we can do is we can make a new tab, or for now I'll just put it here up, just increase here. So we insert here 3 rows, and in here we will say here total stock in dollars, and this will be sum, and we select all these items here. And then we have a nice system here to easily track your inventory. And let's make some design here. I'm going to add up here like some borders. And we can do that for everyone basically here. So this is basically how you can use your easy inventory system here. So let's add up here all the borders to make this at least nice. And there we are. I'm going down. Final one is here. Oh, let's make sure this is all together. Got it. And finally here, if ever we would have, it would be somewhere in the 30. Of course, you can always make this longer. There we are. So what would happen if we would add a new item? Let's add up a new item here. Let's say we have coffee. And this will be coffee. And the package size is 22. Let's go here. Alright, so we go here, and now we have cough for coffee. And we can see here now what's going on. Doesn't read it. Do we have the description here? For some reason it doesn't show. Alright, so we can see here the coffee is not working. I was just wondering what's going on, but of course I realized that we have here this incorrect. It should be 30. And once we have this 30, we have all the coffee because we're missing some items. Same here, this should be 30 as well. So we have them all down to the bottom. And once we did that, we should now start to have, alright, so we have 10 here, we have 1 here. Let's say this is 30 bucks. Alright. Then we go back to our inventory. And now we have coffee here as well. You can see the same issue here because we duplicated this. There we are. Put them here correctly. Sorry about this. I didn't realize this. And there we are. Alright. So now we also solved this small tiny bug here without knowing it. Or not really a bug, but a mistake that I didn't pay attention to. Alright. So you can see 0 sold, item in stock, and this is total cost. Let's double check here one more time. Let's say we have another one is iced coffee, which is iced coffee cup, iced coffee can, and we have 10 items of these, and we receive here. Let's go back here. We select here iced coffee can. There we are, 10 pieces, and this is $5. All right, go back to the inventory. We double check our inventory. Our inventory has been updated instantly. You can see the value also starting to increase, and that is how you create an inventory system. There's still a lot more we can do. We can even go to another tab to create a whole dashboard where you can see it more nicer. But this is really the basics. However, if you're interested and you want to know even more, you want to go deeper, let me know what you're looking for, and I can try to adjust it based on the comments that you have. So if you enjoy videos like this, subscribe on my channel, and if you have questions, just put them below in the comment section, and I'll make sure I'll get back to you.